Against this right back, Charlie.
Still in the court.
You always use that active when defending.
I've been given like. Woo!
And with that, we're live. People deluded. I'm back again. I hope all my Arsenal fans are doing well and safe. And I hope you're all having a great start to the week. Happy Monday, folks. Hope the weekend was great for you. The good times keep rolling on for Arsenal. We just keep winning games. Simple as that. And we've done what we need to do in that, well, some of you hope Spurs win tomorrow. I draw at best. I won't go as far as to say I hope they win. But, if a favor can be done, then it goes down to the last day of the season. And we're flirting with potentially winning a Premier League title. And it's harsh, man. There needs to be a petition to get Man City out of this league, if I'm honest with you, because it's really not fair. Or at least if they finish top, it's irrelevant. It's like when, I don't know if they're actually in the Segunda division, but, technically Barcelona B, Real Madrid B in the championship, they can't get promoted even if they win it. That's what needs to be done, man. It's not fair, man. We deserve a trophy. I deserve it. Are we finished putting the big six in spliffs? Bro, we've got too many flavors. We're going to get arrested. We're shot in two bait, man. Chelsea got, City got. United got times two, as you lot saw. I'm running out of fingers, really and truly. Everyone in the traditional top six or top five and Tottenham hotshot, they got dealt with, really. And to be honest with you, where the North London derby is concerned at the Emirates and where the Chelsea game at Stamford Bridge is concerned, I think we shot ourselves in the foot, man. That's four extra points for us on the board that we didn't amass. Obviously, the two defeats against Aston Villa, the two defeats against Fulham, better yet, the December period. It's jarring, and it just shows how good City are and that you can't slip up. You look at the wins we've had in 2024, the form we've been in, the clean sheets, the 3 points, the goals. It is great. And we're doing great things and we're improving and we're running it all the way down. But unfortunately, isolated away from me liking where the football club is going and what we're doing, it might not be enough in the sense of it probably isn't enough. And there's nothing that's etched in history 20 years, 30 years, 100 years from now that we've won this league title. History only remembers the victors, really. And the winners win and the losers explain. And I'm not trying to say we're losers, but we'll have to do hell of explaining. And on the face of it, there is no shame. Like last year, on the face of it, you lost to a City side that it felt like destiny. Footballing gods blessed them in that they won a treble, which they did. And, City are still ahead of us. We've closed the gap a tiny bit, but City are still a long way in front of us, really and truly, in terms of a football club and where they're at. But we've improved year in, year out. But we're still a far way away. But for me, no matter how good City are, in my heart, I genuinely believe we shot ourselves in the foot. I know we can't win every game, but we make things more difficult than they have to be. And again, we have to look back at where we dropped points for as great as we've been. Ten Hag should be arrested for him breaking the roof of his tears here. We just need the Emre pack. Boy, to be fair with you, I listen, in life, I don't like my life decided by others, and football's the same. Of course, I'd love to see City draw tomorrow, or I won't go as far as to say lose because they're playing Spurs, but would like to see them not take 3 points. But our destiny's not in our control. When it was, boy, and I guess for us now, I think we need to, there was one element that I think we had last season in general, in that when we was losing games, we was reacting quickly. Obviously, we've got more wins and less defeats, record, even that records for what, 27 wins? That's unheard of, really and truly. I think we need to navigate the December period a bit better in hindsight, because that's where it was won and lost, really and truly. Newcastle, the performance was good, but we didn't create or score enough goals. And had we have just picked up an extra 3, 4, 5, 6 points, even let's just keep it at 3, imagine the position we'd be in going into what's left. And when you look at our top 6 record against Manchester City's this year, there's a contrast, probably the only contrast, just shows how much of a marathon it is. And people can mock Arsenal, they can say what they want, but Manchester City have had to, I ain't got them to hand, and it's actually for another video to come out. City have actually had to break certain of their own records to make sure they're up there. So this is why they're the biggest and baddest. And I think I don't know how far looking back with pride goes, but I do think we can be prideful in the boys, in Mikel Arteta and what Arsenal Football Club is doing. But under the guise of winning a trophy, now it's time to accelerate it, because if there is one thing I'm critical of, The Premier League, of course, we could have won more games, but generally it's been okay. League Cup, I won't crucify the club for that, although I would like to win that. I'm gutted about the FA Cup, and I'm going to maintain, since we've won that, I think Mikel Arteta and the boys have really been quite crap in that. I would love to have been in an FA Cup final against Man City or United, whoever it would have been in hindsight. Champions League, of course, I don't think we have the credentials to win the Champions League. You've got Real Madrid and some big boys, but, you know, you look at the Bayern Munich-Real Madrid game, and you couldn't help of just thought, if certain things were different, we could have probably been playing Real Madrid. And it's been a decent season. Obviously, there's no silverware, but I think we gave a good account of ourselves in the Champs. We're doing what we're doing in the Prem. FA Cup, it would be an F for me because that's our trophy. Us and United have won it the record amount of times. Anytime we're not in the final, we're winning that. That's failure. League Cup, I'm not going to crucify the club, but it's never nice to go out. I just want to win trophies. We want to be in a realm where we're competing for 3 to 4 trophies throughout a season. I do think we need to bring in a couple of players that raise the curtain of this squad. I mean, of the 11. I do think we need to get better squad depth because I admire Mikel Arteta. Everybody likes to talk about Arsenal and injuries, and we've had everybody fit. You know, Saliba's played every minute. Last season, it wasn't the case. People told us there was excuses. We've coped with injuries. Tomiyasu, Partey, all of these guys have had knocks. Jesus, etc. But if I'm honest, with a couple of those players that are injured or have been injury prone, we've seen the same story season in, season out. How much times are we going to watch the same movie and want a different ending? It don't make sense. So there's plenty of things for next year. I personally feel we could arrest to go one better. How much do you want Spurs to win against City by DG? I'm conflicted. I'm not an idiot. Of course, if Spurs win, it helps us a big bunch. You know, such is life, really. We still have to go and do our job. I know that I'm cutting off my nose to spite my face, but I can't do it. I'm not like you lot. I'm not criticizing you lot for it. I can't cheer on Spurs. It feels like selling my soul for riches. I'm not on it. I'd rather them lose. I know it sounds hypocritical, people, and I'm conflicted, and I'll be the one making the most noise if City drop points, which when you look at Pep Guardiola, he's not going out like that. He's not going out like that. He's probably disappointed that, you know, they've effed up in the Champions League. They've made, you know, they've taken this game to the lot. Well, they're taking the race down to the wire where typically they've wrapped up the league. He's not going to go out like that and go out to Spurs of all people, a depleted Spurs side that, you know, quite fortunate to win against Burnley. You know, people were saying, and I hope to a degree, I hope it is the case, but people were saying Spurs are going to decide the title challenge. Liverpool slapped them. We beat them. City are running riot. They're getting fucked bareback, man. Pardon my French. Don't have the depth to compete on forefront. Gonna have to find a way, man. December losses all featured Zinchenko left back, Havertz in midfield, and Jesus or Nketiah playing striker. Didn't learn and did the same against Villa again. We killed ourselves. It's about time City bottled something, but they got Pep Guardiola, man. Is it even possible that they bottle something when you've got that madman? We look down at the smaller cups way too much. Pep has 5 Carabao Cups. I don't look down. I'd love to win it. It's not the be-all and end-all, but it's a trophy. And obviously, every time you pick up a trophy, it creates winning mentality. At the end of the day, you know, how many footballers, active footballers that participate in an FA Cup, in a League Cup, in the Champions League, in any domestic league, how many active players in that league actually go and win stuff? How many footballers actually look back in their career and they've won things? So for the footballers and Mikel Arteta and actually the players, any trophy you can get your hands on. This is what we're in it for, you know. This is what this is why we're spending 105 million on Declan Rice, and we're doing all of these things. It's geared up to be winning trophies, if I'm honest. I feel like if we come in for Xavi Simons, I'm sure we can convince him to join Arsenal. I hope we do. He's such a player. Seems like he's got his heart set on Barcelona, where you look at reports and rumours, man. So we'll have to see. Let's go through what Mikel Arteta has said in his press conference, as well as everything else. Arteta single-handedly lost us the league with his stubbornness. No. I disagree, Johnson, because, you know, managers have to be stubborn. You could argue his stubbornness to persist with Kai Havertz up front and certain other things as to why we're here. I've never been a fan of just blaming one person. People say, you know, this person's cost us the league, that person's cost us the league. There's 38 games. And there's been times where other players have had to be saved. It's a fallacy. If every player could say, when we've played Newcastle, when we've played Fulham twice, when we've played West Ham at home, when we've played all of these games and drop points, if everybody in that game, apart from one individual, whether that's Arteta or a player, can say that they couldn't have done more, I think that's a very lazy view of things. You know, Arteta's stubbornness is the reason the club is moving in the way it is. He had conviction in his belief. I'm not a fan of the central midfield stuff with Kai Havertz. I think we need a central midfielder. I do think Kai Havertz may have changed our thinking where a striker is concerned. I still believe we need a striker. I want the best of both worlds. Kai Havertz doing his thing and another striker. I think fans need to not get excited with, you know, just because it's happening for us this season. Next season's a different ball game. So let's just keep going, man, in my opinion. Blaming the entire loss on Arteta is crazy. We could also say is the reason that we are pushing City to the last day. Exactly. We win, lose, and draw together. You know, there's not a single player there that hasn't made a mistake. Rice went missing yesterday, way too disconnected from Partey, and Martin Odegaard way too far wide left. Really poor from us yesterday and could not beat the press and lumped it long too often. I hear that. On another day, the way we played weren't attractive, but it was effective. We went long. We tried to compete for the first and second balls, which again on another day wasn't good, but against Spurs and these lot, it's a street smart performance. We know if we're spot on defensively, these teams cannot break us down. United only are a threat when it's an emotional game. So let's get, you know, that mid and low block going. If they present us with an opportunity, take it, which obviously if they didn't make that mistake, we'd probably have had to force the issue in the attacking sense a bit more and try to get something from it. But we did what we needed to do. Of course, there could always be improvements. But personally, I like the fact that I wouldn't say it was a poor performance. I've said that on the ball, but I like the fact that we can kind of just be ugly and get 3 points, especially at the business end of the season. We can play teams off the park if they want to make it football, and we can stink up the gaff and go home. And like, I like that. Now, next season is going to be a bit different because teams are probably going to do their homework on set pieces, on ways to exploit our mid and low block. Like I'm sure one of my videos is coming out either 6 or 8 p.m. or 2 of them. I did a tactical review of this. We know, again, to disrupt a team shape, you have to move the ball fast. Spurs cannot move the ball fast. United cannot move the ball fast. So if we just sit in our shape, it's not that we can't concede. There were some times we was giving away loose balls, but we're sitting in our shape. They're just moving the ball left, right. That's all great. Yeah. As a fan, you don't want to see them on the edge of your area, but they're not breaking us down, essentially, man. We need a big signing this summer because we know Pep is going for big guns like Musiala and Wirtz. Seems like Wirtz could go Bayern Munich or Real Madrid. Big up DG. If Tottenham want to lose 5-0, I hope they lose 10-0. I feel sad for Ange. He's starting to realize he's joined the club with a losing mentality. Big up Sasha. She said, man, don't forget to hit the like button. People, keep your opinions coming. Big up DG in the nation. 60k on the horizon. Everyone smash the like. Let's tickle the algorithm. Appreciative to that. So yeah, again, there's been games where of course we could do them. There's even been games we've won, which like Man United, I personally feel Spurs conceded some, you know, we was moving mad in the Spurs game, but we did enough. United want to see a bit more on the ball. Don't think we was competing as good as we can in the duels. I think watching the game twice, I think the first 3 minutes, it looked like we might actually run a riot there. And watching the game again from minute 3 up until about when we scored, that was probably United's best period. So I like the fact that we can be ugly. Like, years ago, you know, and I do think the goalposts move with our football club because when we was playing saucy football and, you know, lovely, entertaining to watch and we was dominating possession and all these chances, but we weren't winning games, people say we can't win ugly. Now we're winning ugly. People say we're not playing great football. How many times do you see Real Madrid actually play amazing football from minute 90 to 0? Because I've watched them in La Liga. It hasn't been that case for all of their games. Definitely is not the case historically with them in the champs. Definitely isn't the case with Man City. Sometimes you just need to be able to put in a 6 out of 10 performance and keep it moving, which I think the United game was. Again, on one hand, on the ball, all of that stuff needs to be a bit better. But it's a street smart performance. Defend well, exploit any mistakes they make, just do our jobs, and we go home. And we got a clean sheet. Like Manchester this season has been a good place for us. A clean sheet against those 2 clubs. Obviously, their injuries with no Bruno and Rashford helped us. I do think considering their injuries, they kind of competed. But yeah, when you look at the underlying metrics as well, it kind of shows the issues of Man United and us just doing the basics, really, where you look at the final third entries and all of that sort of jazz. Aston Villa really annoyed me away. Yeah, bro, dead. And this is what I mean by we shoot ourselves in the foot. Aston Villa couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. West Ham at home couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Newcastle away, we couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, but we weren't creating anything to put the ball in the back of the net. So we've shot ourselves in the foot. So there's a lot of things that we can arrest internally, as well as bringing in some external factors. Like, again, for me, we need to sort out the midfield. If it was up to me, you get a left-sided centre, mid, and you get another 6. You get a striker, you get a winger. I do think we could do with another defensive body. Obviously, we need to try and move some players on, and then keep it moving from there. Big up DG. As much as I enjoyed the win, that Odegaard body fake still bangs in my head. That guy is gracious. There was no need to send Amrabat like that. Even Real Madrid played City the way we did, very defensive. When we did it, it was a problem. When Madrid did it, Ancelotti's a genius. Ancelotti's a very good tactical manager. But again, that's what you've got to be a bit street smart. Again, I like the fact that obviously you need emotion. I can't say Arsenal an emotionless side because we've got passion, we've got resilience. They buy into what Arteta is doing. So there is emotion, but we're channeling it in the right way. You know, you go back to, what game was it? When we played, do you remember when, I'm sure Rodri scored the winner at the Emirates a few years ago, when Arteta first, you could kind of see that we was becoming a bit more competitive. We started very well, like a house on fire. We're playing great football. At the end of the day, we lost. sometimes if you can't win, don't lose. And I actually am proud of us in this period, because in previous years, you look at Liverpool, you look at Spurs, Chelsea, and Spurs, Chelsea, and United. Arsenal fans know what time it is. We know that we're gonna crumble in these games. So to come out from that, we're living, man. We're living. Hope you're good, K, man. Let's assume this same season duplicates into the next. What would you do with Arteta? Well, he probably would have signed a new deal. It depends on the context, but I do think the conversation is now shifting to, can you get us a Premier League title? And if not, I guess it's a case for the owners. Like, how much are they happy with what Arteta is doing and whatnot? Or do they want to force the issue and say, Arteta, you're not actually doing anything wrong. There's just someone better out there that can get us a Premier League or get us in the champs and things like that. Because I love what Arteta is doing, but at the end of the day, because I rate you so much, I have to hold you to high standards. I do think some Arsenal fans big up Mikel Arteta. He's the best thing since sliced bread. And then we lose. There's a lot of excuses when this man himself is coming out and not saying such, people. Speaking of what he's been saying on the performance yesterday, he said, I'm really, really happy. Obviously, everything is at stake. We have no margin for error since January. We have to keep winning in any context. There you have it. Win first, dissect performances later. Back in the days, we'd have great performances, but we didn't win. All that matters is points on the board. And today we have to play in a really special place, Old Toilet. Our history wasn't very optimistic about what could happen, but we found a way to win it. And that says how much the team wants it. On whether he was nervous to see the result out. To be fair with you, I was more nervous in the Spurs game, though, because at a point it felt like, United are it's just smoke and mirrors. They're huffing and puffing, but they're so badly coached. They're a depleted side. They're not really got confidence. The only thing I was nervous of in that game is it. And ironically, it happened with Onana. It felt like both teams, the only way either team's going to score is if one team has a lapse in concentration. And obviously, Onana's goal kick was met by Saliba. Saliba's found Benjamin White. Benjamin White's popped it to Havertz. Havertz and Trossard have done what's needed to be done, people. So, yeah, man. He said yes, because at the end, you know that a draw and what the consequences are after that. And when you are there and you really want it, I felt the team was in a really good space before the game. We started the game well, we scored the goal, but that goal, I think it touched something, especially with the duties and the things that we have to do in both possessions. And we started to play too safe, not respect any structure and knowing our purpose. And I didn't like it. So the gaffer weren't happy with it. And that kind of correlates to what we're saying here, people. I would have to change that. And when we wanted to change it, we struggled to do it. But if you don't have that element of the game to be more dominant and be more present in the game, you have to be extraordinary at competing and doing the defensive things right. And after all of that, we were excellent. I'm not going to get into the Spurs thing. We've been here. I'm sure the manager low-key would like, Spurs to do us a favor, but it is what it is. He then said, people, they're all buzzing. We really wanted to live that moment. So we say, okay, now we have to earn the right to go to the last day and live that moment. This is part of our journey, and we have a big chance of winning the Premier League, and we're going to experience that. We're going to have a normal preparation like every week and try to be in the best space to compete and try to beat Everton and then live the occasion as well. Well, like you said there, we need to do our job in it. Beat Everton, hope the footballing gods bless us. And it is going to suck, because you'd imagine, just based on the Premier League, there's going to be a podium of some sort set up for Arsenal. There might even be a replica Premier League trophy in Manchester, even though I think that's where it should just go anyways, and at Arsenal. It would be gutting, man. But Liverpool have been through this, but they eventually bagged the Premier League title. So we're going to have to just enjoy it, man. Pressure's a privilege, and this is a lot better than, 9 times out of 10, last day of the season, there's nothing really to play for. The pressure's off. We know we're going to see a bunch of goals, really. This time last year, in our little title challenge, it was done by now, people. Smash the like button if you haven't. On our record since the turn of the year, I think it encouraged you to win more and be more equipped and prepared and more confidence to win in different contexts. Winning does breed confidence as well, and to bring results in different ways. And they just mentioned this 27 wins in the Premier League. It's the most in the history of this football club in 130 years. It's more than the Invincibles, which tells you how hard the Premier League actually is to win. I think there was a statistic, like a couple of Sir Alex Ferguson Premier League winning sides. We've actually got more points and wins on the board. So it just tells you how tough this thing is with the present day and what City are and what Pep has made this Premier League. Like, being perfect, we're not perfect, but even perfect might not even be enough, man. Like, it's sad, but really and truly, you probably need plus 30 wins. You can't have too many defeats, really. But it is what it is. He then said, people, on what we've done in 130 years, that's not progress, that's history, and that's very, very difficult thing to do, especially in the league that we're playing in now. Big compliment to all the players and the staff on what they've done. Generally, one thing I think goes under missed is players being fit, and I hope that is the case next season. You know, Saliba's played every minute, Gabriel's been there, Raya's been there, Rice has been there. Obviously, there's been moments people have had to come off and whatnot, but Benjamin White as well. The majority of the squad has been there, which again, if we can get players that are on that, then it helps us, because as much as I like Tomiyasu and Partey and actually Zini and Gabriel Jesus, is getting a bit boring now. I'll never criticize a player for getting injuries because they happen, but some are more frequent than others. The best trait you could have is being available, people. So yeah, big up Arsenal and what they're doing, and it's a result of all the hard work that we've done. Only if we're preparing for the title race to go down to goal difference. Come on now. I mean, every scenario is possible, but come on now, really? Goal difference? To be honest with you, based on how City dumped on Fulham and probably what I expect them to do tomorrow, but goal difference might not even be a thing. No. We'll prepare for the week, the game, all the possible scenarios that we can face on the day, that's for sure. On if the boss will be supporting Spurs on Tuesday, we know we need it, and they're a really difficult team to play against. We just suffered that a few weeks ago when we played them, so hopefully they can do it. I mean, he's not really said it. On if Saka's okay, he said he should be fine. On if City will feel pressure. Pressure's a privilege. They've been here. Of course, there's going to be an element of pressure, but they've been here before. I don't know. It's a question for them. We have to do our thing and wait. And then he said, I don't know. We are now in a moment. The focus is just on what we need to do, and we'll analyze the season when we finish and get everything, all the information together, and try to understand why it's happening and try to be better for sure. Shout out the gaffer, because many people said last year we were flashing the pan. We're not going to be there again. Everyone's going to improve, which I don't doubt. I don't think every year Arsenal's going to be competing for a title and we're going to be relatively injury free and things, but like, we're actually a good football team, man. Saliba, man of the match, man of the match for me, really. I think if I had to highlight individuals, William Saliba, man of the match. Shout out to Trossard for bagging. Kai Havertz, when you was dropping deep, you was quite wasteful, but all the other metrics and what you was doing, I think you did well. And I think Raya did all right as well. Not that he had much to do. I think Raya did all right as well, if I'm honest with you. Saka defensive. Saka started well and then kind of went quiet. Weren't the best of games for Martin Odegaard. Thomas Partey, after coming back into the team and doing quite well, quite simply put, was bugging out yesterday. And that's actually a lot of things, like watching the game again. Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Thomas Partey. The only thing I saw Saliba do wrong, there was a couple, Tomiyasu as well. Decision making with the ball, we're under hitting it, we're over hitting it, we're taking too many touches. The pass isn't meeting its manner. When you pass to a teammate, it's meant to help them. Meant to make their life easier. And I don't think we had that in us. And Arteta said that. But we're saying all of these things and we're still getting 3 points, people. So it is what it is. But our centre half said it wasn't easy today because it's a good team and it's really hard to come and take 3 points here. Not this year. How much defeats have they got? But anyways, generally for us, it is we suffered a lot. We didn't play well as always. But when we are not at our best, we have to stay strong. We don't want to lose or draw. And today we did very well at the end and we took the 3 points. It was another strong performance defensively from the team. I think it's not only the defense, it's everyone, the midfield and the attackers. We all defend together and we have to be happy to keep a clean sheet. Amen. Because it's not every time they don't score here. We are so happy. We need to keep going and keep going. I'm proud because I played well today. Yes, you did. From the start, you was the one I was like, "Rah, Saliba's on this." And because of my teammates as well, they help me every time. So it's easy to perform in this team. From there, I want to keep going. I want to keep performing and keep progressing, and I will try to do my best. And then he said, I hope it'll be a good week for us, but we have to pray, we have to believe, and we have to win against Everton. We have to watch as well on Tuesday what's going to happen in Tottenham. So let's see. I might be being a bit harsh, and I am being critical of nothing, but Saliba's comments and Havertz's comments, I'm not really for them. I would have loved you to have been a bit like Mikel Arteta, been a bit diplomatic in the comments in relation to Spurs. Just be easy. We know you're watching it, but just chill. Arteta has said, this result opened another box, another window, which is the last day of the season. Fine for the Premier League in front of our people, with our families who are there. We're going to live an amazing day. I can't wait to live that. We talked about it yesterday, and let's open up that door. Football's about moments and enjoying this journey, and that last day is going to be something that I don't know how many times we're going to live together. So let's enjoy, let's prepare what to do, what we have to do, and hopefully a great outcome could happen. I hope so. He then said it's a huge win. Our history wasn't particularly positive towards this game. And with everything that was at stake, we knew what we needed to do. And we had to deal with that pressure and with that demand. I think we started the game well. We scored a great goal. And then, I think the game context and the scoreline affected the team, especially with the things that we had to do to win the ball. We became too flat, too slow, and too predictable. But then we had to rely as well on our defensive duties. I thought we were excellent again today. We didn't concede much at all. And yes, it's a massive win. Fair enough. And then he said it will go down to history, and big credit to those players and the staff of what we're doing to achieve that with the long history that we have. That's down a lot to the quality, but as well to the determination and mentality of this team and how much they want to win and how much they're willing to put how much they're willing to put in there to get results. Fair enough, man. Not only Partey, so did I said all of them names, but yeah. And again, I'm not here to just blame one footballer. If me personally, and I'm a champion of that. Everyone's passing was off, but again, it's the business end of the season. I can't no excuses. I'm sure the players know it because every post-match comment, players are alluding to it. Arteta has said it. They know they could have done better, but you can't go back in time. So today, review what we could have done better. Count our blessings for 3 points. At the same time, though, it's not a cop out, and I'm definitely not making excuses. But do we really expect great performances at this point in the season? Like, players are leggy, players are fatigued, there's injuries. It's just about getting it done, if I'm honest with you. And so far, so good. Havertz has been speaking. He's revealed he's willing to break rule 1 when it comes to being an Arsenal player and supporting Spurs. I mean, you remember you played for Chelsea. Though. Calm down, Havertz, man. We're all going to be, so let's hope for the best. If City do not win at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it will ensure that Arsenal will go into the final day top of the table. A draw will see the Gunners remain on top courtesy of their 3-goal superiority. I don't want to be with that, man, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, shout out to Havertz with that. Saliba has said he's supporting them, man. He said I think all the Arsenal team will be Tottenham fans. Let's pray. Let's pray for Tuesday. I hope it'll be a good week for us. We did our job against United. We have another job at the weekend. They, brackets obviously Spurs, want to play in the Champions League next season. Hopefully Emery don't bottle that. I know their fans don't want them to win against City, but they're good competitors, so I think they will try their best to win against City. We know Tottenham is a very good team. Our first game and second game this season with them was not easy. I hope they'll be at their best on Tuesday. Then he said, we're happy because it wasn't easy to come to United and to take the points. It was a long time since we had come here and taken 3 points. We were aware of the record at Old Trafford. Yes, of course, we weren't good, but we took the points. When we are not at our best, we have to stay compact and suffer to the end. So, yeah, man, I don't think anyone can disagree. ESPN Brazil apparently has quoted Mikel Arteta. He said, from the moment they brought Edu in, it was an absolute success. Someone who was a player and was absurdly successful at the club, who knew the culture and had a clear vision of how to win it. He changed my life because he had the courage to trust me without having been a coach at such a big club and at a difficult time. You have a lot of personality to do that, and we're reaping the benefits. Arsenal have lost 1 league game in the last 4 months. If that's the reason we failed to win the league, then you have to appreciate what we're up against. We've done our bit. It's true, but there has been periods that we could have done better. And when you look at the run-ins compared from last season, people, like, we've only got 1 loss, which, again, it's never a good time to lose games. And, again, we can't talk because we haven't played Everton, but we've learned our lessons to a degree. Is it enough? Probably not. I wouldn't say it's the same old Arsenal, but we all know the banter and all the things that's going to come our way. But I think people know the truth. Imagine it goes to GD. Both teams will go guns blazing, band for band. I don't think it will, but you can't rule out anything. Wayne, I won't say this with you lot, people, but Wayne Rooney was very critical of Man United, and I think he was very real. Miedemar, who plays for Arsenal's ladies, is to leave Arsenal at the end of the season after 7 years, man. We wish the Netherlands international the best. Gabriel Jesus backs teammate to become one of the best in the world. Who? Well, this was actually about Saliba before, really, and Saliba played so good. I'm not going to lie. I'm doing a video on him. Pep Guardiola, people, has been speaking as well, and he said it's simple. We lose to Spurs, we're out. Apparently, they're going to rest 2 days before this game against Spurs, and apparently they're actually training away from City's training ground. Getting into transfer news again, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. We see a lot of this nonsense. Arsenal are planning a blockbuster summer transfer window and could sign Frankie De Jong alongside a Premier League striker and a Liverpool target, according to reports. Frankie De Jong, in terms of ability and what I want to see from a midfielder, I'm on it. And I can't say he hasn't got the mentality, but I think you will crumble in resolute moments. Not necessarily you personally, but I don't think you're a mentality monster like that. I think you get inspired off the others. But yeah, people, Mikel Arteta will be desperate to get one over City, the club where he was assistant manager, by helping Arsenal finally win Prem glory. What does that have to do with Frankie De Jong? Man United are still being linked with him. Reports emerging from Spain that Barcelona are considering selling him and Araujo, by the way, people. And you know, if we could get Frankie De Jong, I'm all for it. Apparently, he has an asking price of 69 million, which equates to 80 million euros. Are you lot for that? That would probably signal the end of Thomas Partey's future. William Pacho, who's been linked with Liverpool in the last few weeks, people, to the point where apparently they're on spending 50 million and letting him stay there for a year on loan. He has been linked with us, the 22-year-old centre-half. And this article's linked us with him again, and we're still linked with Isaac. Whether we can get these signings over the line is another thing. Arsenal are ready to supercharge their summer transfer window by offloading a string of fringe players in order to boost the kitty open to manager Mikel Arteta in the close season. I mean, that's what we should be doing, isn't it? According to a report from the Mirror, as many as 7 players could be sold by the Gunners. It's been estimated that this could raise around 230 million quid. Eddie Nketiah, Emil Smith-Rowe, Aaron Ramsdale, Kieran Tierney, who we covered in an interview. We went over his interview. Sammy Lokonga, who scored at the weekend and did the Thierry Henry corner flag finish. Tavares, Nelson, all find themselves on the transfer list ahead of the summer. El Nene, Cedric, Suarez, and Okonkwo will leave as free agents, people. Whether we're able to sell these players, whether they're able to move on, whether they want to move on is another thing. Obviously, the free transfers, it is what it is. I predict rumors. I think they'll be silly to sell Rojo, but if they need money from that Barca team, who's really going to bring money? Rojo's one, De Jong's one, Yalmao's one, but they'll be crazy to sell him. Rafinha's probably linked with moves away as well. I wouldn't sell a Rojo if I was them, but yeah, Rafinha's been offered to several Premier League clubs, including Arsenal and Liverpool. People, apparently Barcelona want to sell him in order to finance a move for Nico Williams. We are getting to that point of the season, people, where people are going to start just reporting stupid stuff. But it is what it is. We were linked with Rafinha before. I wonder if Mikel Arteta would be keen on that. So there's that. Real Sociedad manager has said Zubamendi will stay. He said Martin Zubamendi wants to stay here, and I'm sure he'll stay with us at Real Sociedad next season. I have no doubts he's staying with us. Apparently, Arsenal thought to have other targets that they could turn to instead of Zubamendi. Bruno Gomares and Douglas Luiz have reportedly been listed as candidates, people. So the rumour mills are going on. And this report said Arsenal are poised to beat Barcelona to the signing of Zubamendi, and we're actually big favourites. Allegedly. I'm good with no Rafinha. Our signing for me have to be better than the starting 11. Forget all the squad player, I'll say ish. Our group stage in the champs was Europa level. First test of a big team. We got shown we ain't that big. What players do you genuinely think Arsenal will get? Not a clue, man. Not a clue. Not a clue, I'll be honest. I think, if Zubamendi really wants to do it because of his release clause, it could get done. Other than that, I don't have a clue. Apparently Wolves even need to sell players. So you'd imagine in the next 24 to 48 to 72 hours, not only Rafinha links, but Pedro Neto links. We're going to get linked with everyone. If Spurs score first tomorrow, there'll be chaos. I mean, that just plays into City's hands, man. Spurs are way too naive. They're way too emotional. They're getting issues. DG, do not even discount, or I'm sending you the Tottenham trophy cabinet. You're a madman. I've seen too many Chelsea players and managers jumping across London between us three, so I don't believe any of them feel the rivalry like that. Just as long as he turns up on North London Derby Day like he did this year. I mean, Kai Havertz, if you said Kai Havertz that played central midfield against Fulham at the Emirates would be doing what he's doing now, people say, yeah, liar. No, any signings have to be starters, no ifs and buts. And I think the block, I would say if it's not a starting quality striker, a starting quality centre mid, and a starting quality winger, forget about it. But I do think naturally a byproduct could be players that are in the starting 11. If you're not doing your job, you become part of the squad. How many players, and we're not City, but how many players have City had and still have as starters at other clubs? Cole Palmer couldn't really buy significant minutes. One of the best players, if not the best player at Chelsea. And there's several others. There's been times Bernardo Silva's been on the bench. You look through that City squad, a lot of them would probably play 38 Premier League games. Jorginho will be staying, but Partey probably won't be moving on unless Saudi's come in. But yeah, even if neither leave, we need a midfielder. If you got to say stuff like that during the title race, then it's all right, I guess. If this was a few years back, I would have been pissed hearing Kai saying that. As long as we've been up in the standards, I hear that. And that's all you want to see. Not going to lie, I'm feeling bad for Martinelli. Martinelli be all right. He'll be back by the end of the day. The collective comes first. If you're not doing the job, and Trossard is, which he is, then you're not playing, are you? He needs a bit of luck, though, man. Just needs a goal. But again, for Gabriel Jesus and Martinelli, on a personal front, hopefully we win the title. But on a personal front, it's a write-off, in terms of goals and assists. Once again, Frankie De Jong links won't go away. Arsenal and United are set to face off for his signature as well as playing at the weekend, people. Apparently, a report claims Arteta dreams of creating a trio in midfield of De Jong, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard and sees the Barcelona man as the perfect complement to his plans. It's believed De Jong's asking price is around 80 million euros, a fee which would prove difficult for Arsenal and United to meet as it stands, with both clubs needing to sell before splashing the cash this summer. Do we need to sell because that's just how we want to conduct business? Do we actually need to sell, or is this just mind games? I don't know, people, but that's that where De Jong's concerned. Again, people, as many as 7 players could be keeping it moving, and who knows, there could be a shock departure. Liverpool apparently looking at Anthony Gordon, and apparently Mikel Arteta has his heart set, according to this, on Alexander Isak, who is at the top of Arsenal's list of striking targets for the summer, as Mikel Arteta is now intent on buying the forward that will complete his team. I mean, 80 million on Frankie De Jong. You're probably looking at around 100 million for Isak on 2 players. I guess it's money well spent, but I'm not sure. Give Barca Jorginho a party with cash for De Jong. They're not going to take on his wages. I think they're more likely to take on Jorginho, if I'm honest. Apparently, we're still looking at Jarell Hato, according to Fabrizio Romano. Apparently, Arsenal keep monitoring Ajax young centre-back Jarell Hato is one of the best talents in Europe in his position. He's already been scouted for months and Arsenal keep following him. Obviously signed a new deal until 2028. At Ajax recently, Arsenal remain interested. Bring him to the carpet, man. Bring him to the carpet, man. Please just bring the man to the carpet. I think he's lit. Arsenal have upped the ante of their pursuit of Nico Williams. Where 1 minute he's going Barca, then he's going Chelsea, then he's going Villa, then he's going Arsenal. Then everybody's moved away because of his wage demands, allegedly. Who knows, people? The youngster apparently is already on 200 grand a week. So unless clubs are extremely convinced of his qualities to make an impact from the start, I don't necessarily believe it. Real Madrid's bench are starters for most teams around the world. We need to be on the same thing. Ajax got financial issues, that's possible, and a good relationship with us. You know, I want Hato. At minimum, if they said they don't want to let Jarell Hato leave, give them the money and say, you know what, stay for a year. I think I've said it in the video I did of Nico Williams. I think he's a good player with good raw materials, but I think he's incredibly overrated, man, if I'm honest with you. But that's where Nico Williams is concerned. Romano has said, I'm not aware of talks so far, but Nico has really many suitors. Barcelona, English clubs, and not only there's a lot of interest. I'm still told all the clubs are waiting to understand the financial package wanted by the player in terms of commission and salary. Barcelona appreciate him, but it's still very early stages. He has a 50 million euros release clause, and at 21 years of age, naturally, he's going to get a lot of plaudits. But, you know, I don't think his season's been amazing. I think he's had some great moments to really warrant being on 200 grand. I think Arteta could work magic with him and his raw materials, but I don't think at the point of him signing for Arsenal, holding our shirt, I don't think he lifts our 11. I'd hope to be wrong. I don't think he's worth the money or the outlay. We've been linked with Dewsbury Hall of Leicester. Apparently, they need to sell to comply with profit and sustainability rules. Can't imagine that he'll leave. He just got promoted back to the Premier League. Benjamin Sesko's agent was in attendance at Old Trafford for Man United versus Arsenal, people. Now, he could be linked with, he could just be enjoying the football. He could be talking to Arsenal, could be talking to United, could actually be talking to Chelsea. And I think he was actually at the AC Milan game this weekend as well, where Sesko's concerned. He appears to be highly interested in a transfer to Milan during the upcoming summer window. Indeed, recent reports indicate that Milan has initiated contact with Sesko's reps, and apparently reports have said they've taken it a step further. They've even claimed that they're preparing to put in an offer of 50 million euros for the 20-year-old people. He's really finding his feet at Leipzig at the moment. Been linked with Arsenal, been linked with Chelsea, only been at his current club for 12 months, really. He's got 10 goals and 2 assists in his last 12 games. So there you have it. Meanwhile, reports have suggested that Sesko's agent has been down in London to speak to a number of sides, though the details of those conversations aren't clear. But if the reports coming out of Italy are true, then the London side's keen on him may be forced to reconsider their targets. So yeah, apparently Milan have met with him. And imagine, you know, the agent's doing his job. He's probably playing the clubs against each other. They're fielding to see what his client wants to exactly do. Again, there's a lot of shenanigans being played, if I'm honest, where the transfer market's concerned. Again, we've gone over Saliba. Chelsea have spoken to the agents of Osimhen and Sesko, 2 players that have been linked with us. Crystal Palace would consider a big offer for midfielder Adam Wharton this summer. TalkSport understands a 20-year-old who only joined Palace on February the 1st from Blackburn for 22.5 million. Don't think he'll get a Euro shout, but his form has warranted him being in the conversation. He was obviously at Blackburn. Can't see Crystal Palace wanting to letting him go. Can't see him wanting to move already. And he's probably going to cost him. You know what time it is once you get there. But you'd imagine Crystal Palace do probably need to sell. So you could humor it and say Wharton could leave. Probably Elise. I think the most likely to go is Gurhi. I think he's cutting. Apparently PSG have advanced Victor Osimhen negotiations, but the Napoli man remains Chelsea's priority target. So it seems like Arsenal Football Club have moved away from that, people. This is just still talking about De Jong. Zaha apparently is leaving Galatasaray and Aston Villa and Unai Emery. I mean, Emery didn't get him at Arsenal, but he might get him at Aston Villa. Would any of you have the 31-year-old people? He could be a cut price option. Go get Eze. I don't think Eze is the profile of 8 that Arsenal want. I mean, out of the Palace players, I'd prefer Elise. I'd say Elise first, then Eze second. But Eze, they're both wavy in it. They're both ridiculous. Young Renell Waters, I told you lot thought I was lying. Little birdie said he's leaving at the end of the season, people, upon the expiration of his contract. So we're not going to get no money. He was up. Well, I think technically we've offered him a deal, so he might if he goes to a British club. Waters, 19, was offered a new deal by Arsenal, but decided it would not be the right step for his development. Of course it wouldn't. You can't buy a game ahead of Cedric in dead rubber games. You've got Tomiyasu, Benjamin White, Timber all ahead of you. You know, Kirill, if you want to go to the left-hand side, he can play left back, centre, even though I think he's a fullback, can play all across the back forward. There's too many people ahead of him. If you go and bring in a Hatto or someone like that, it's a myth, people. So we wish him all the best, really and truly, man. He holds a German passport, which helps as well. And apparently clubs in the Premier League, Championship, Germany, Netherlands, Spain, Italy, and Belgium want him as well. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on. Due to the defender's German passport, if he moves to Europe, that will be set by FIFA at 90,000. So I say million, 90,000 per year. He was at the club. So yeah, we'd probably get 360k for his 4 years at Arsenal. You got to do what you need to do, man. Like, end of the day, the pathway is blocked. I personally think him and Koza Dewberry next season, you need to be playing senior football of some sorts. I won't say a year's wasted, but it does feel weird, a year's wasted. Anyone having Victor Rog, people? Deco has decided that Victor Rog will leave Barcelona this summer, either on loan or on a permanent transfer. The coaching staff don't count on him, and the sporting department agree. Maybe they just see him as a Brazilian wonder kid that someone will buy and he's easy to flog. But considering all the hype, if you don't want to get rid of him after 6 months, there must be something wrong with him. There's not even talk on him loaning, really, apart from that. Romano has said, with Aaron Ramsdale's future in doubt, Arsenal will 100% bring in a new backup goalie this summer. One name being mentioned is former Gunners keeper Wojciech Szczesny, but my understanding is that Szczesny has not clarified his situation with Juventus at this stage. Juventus like Monzo goalkeeper I can't say his name, man. Forgive me. But nothing is decided yet. So also for Szczesny, it's all quiet so far. So it's again, the journalists are starting to get 2 and 2 and making a million, people. So it's getting to silly season. PSG are preparing a move for KK from Napoli. Again, forgive me. There's no way I can say his name, but he would be a lit signing for Arsenal on that left-hand side, if I'm honest. Petit has urged Arsenal to capitalize on Jadon Sancho's Man United situation. We were speaking a few weeks ago about Marcus Rashford or Sancho. I'd rather Sancho. If you're Sancho, surely you just want to stay at Dortmund. But saying that, Ten Hag might get sacked. Things might get rosier at Man United. Might make sense to go back there, really and truly. I wouldn't mind taking a chance on Jadon, if I'm honest with you. Why not, man? We've definitely done a lot worse in this world. Again, in terms of other content, people, tactical analysis should be out after this video. What's this? Again, I don't know about you lot, but I thought this needed addressing, people, in relation to Arsenal fans cheering on Spurs. And tomorrow, it makes sense to do a watch along for Arsenal versus, for Spurs versus City as well. But that appears to be all the transfer news. We can spin the block and see what's going on. Let's change this to an hour. Big up me, Demar. We wish you all the best. Hope we see Timber in some capacity against Everton. Waters, we've gone over that. I mean, Romano's poured cold water on Szczesny joining Arsenal, but this has said we've held initial conversations about whether to make a move to lure him back. This is what Dean Jones is saying, essentially. I guess he'd be happy to be second choice, but, you know, you're currently getting 200k per week. Arsenal aren't going to give a backup goalie that kind of money. That's actually crazy. And how good is Szczesny with a ball at his feet? I'm sure, you know, him being an Arsenal man, he'd love it, but it's true that, for what it's worth, it's true that Arsenal have shown an interest in signing Wojciech Szczesny, but it's hard to know if there's genuine scope for it to progress at the moment. They are on the lookout for a new backup goalkeeper because Aaron Ramsdale is going to leave after this season, and Szczesny, with his experience and ties to the club, is a really good option to consider. That is why they have had initial conversations about whether it could open up. He's definitely not the only option for them, though. I have heard of at least 2 other goalkeepers recently that Arsenal sounded out about next season. So why didn't you drop the names? Fair enough, man, but that seems to be it. I'd take Rashford over Sancho. There's a 100% chance that Rashford scores in the Prem, especially in our system. I like the illusion of Rashford, bro. I like the illusion of Rashford. I think he's very good on the transition and whatnot. I don't think his IQ is high enough. Even when he scored mad goals, hasn't been there. I'd rather work with Sancho. But again, them Love Island youths are volatile, so it's probably best to just allow it. No, DG, you can say that you don't want to support them, but you surely have to want them to win or draw. Definitely benefits outweigh the negatives massively. I'll never want Spurs to win to win a game. Always lose. If they can lose, great. You know, if they draw, great. You know, obviously, I'm not going to sit and be stupid. You know, if Spurs win, then, you know, the pressure's on City. But I can't support them. You lot are selling your soul. So what happens? And I hope to be wrong because I want them to drop points against... I want City to drop points in the 2 games left. I'd rather them do it against West Ham. So what happens when you sell your soul, cheering on Spurs like some of you, and then Spurs get whitewashed? And when you turn on that TV and you look, come out the shower and you look in the mirror, you're going to go to bed feeling like a dickhead. Forget that. He's better than Martinelli, that we can't lie. He would work here. Nah, I don't think so. And I as much as I think Arteta is a genius where it comes to working with certain players, Not everyone, don't do the captain save a hole now, man. You've done the Havertz thing. Not every player that's got damaged, because you've done it to a degree with Odegaard because he needed love. That's worked. Havertz, that's worked. A couple of others. Let's get some guys that are 30, man. That Victor kid flopped already after what, 60 M's on him. They must not rate him, man. They must not rate him. I can't see Sesko leaving Leipzig after 1 year. But at the same time, there's a reason why his reps wanted to include a release clause for him this summer. It all depends, man. You know, money talks, and sometimes opportunities might be too good to turn down. Eze can do what we want of Fabio Vieira easily, extremely easily. Gerhi and Elise would most likely be the two that they dash. I actually back that. They'll keep on to Eze. I don't rate Sesko. I'd rather we go get Osimhen or Zertsky, Tel or Tony if we're going for a second option striker. I'd rather Sesko over Tony. I'd love, you know, Matthias Tel. Zertsky, Bologna just qualified for the Champions League. Is he going to leave? And is he going to leave to be second fiddle at Arsenal? Osimhen, quality player. I just think the finances just don't make sense. How comes we never tried to sign players from South America and find us an up-and-coming Vinicius, Rodrigo, Messi, Neymar? We never know. Very difficult to find a Neymar. You won't find another Messi. But the other names, why not really? You know, we came back with Martinelli. That was great. And then we came back with Marquinhos. And he's back in Brazil, really and truly. Isaac and De Jong in one transfer window could possibly be the best outcome in the summer. Elise and Hato on the side as well, I pray. Give me Isaac/Osimhen, De Jong, Hato, and I'll be happy. I could work with that, but I'd still want another winger, man, if I'm honest. Did you hear about the Old Trafford floods? We saw it, mate. We saw it. The man said Mikel Antonio stock's going to hit like Apple in the 2000s. I hope so, man. Antonio's done a lot of talking. David Moyes, help your son Mikel Arteta out. Pep Guardiola, come on. You're the big brother of Arteta. Yeah, you can do your 4P, but sharing is caring. Just let us have this one Premier League trophy, and then we'll go and do it again next year. Let's be honest, they're going to be Spursy. Nobby, as you said it there, Spurs are going to get moved to. I want to be wrong. By all means, clip me up and do all of that sort of stuff, but I don't give Spurs. You've got a chance in any football game, innit, before it's kicked off, but I don't give them a chance. Bro, to be honest, City team is like Madrid. Okay, bro, just let that sink in. Just look at it. Liverpool and City be there for the last couple of years, and okay, we come second 2 times, and then guys don't lose. Don't waste your time on Tuesday. I'm going gym. Now I'll watch it with you lot, but that's where it is. That's where it is. In life, it's the hope that kills, and I'm not expecting Spurs to do anything. It's Spurs. You know, some of their fans are happy to just lose games. Their manager sounds quite vexed with the social media Spurs fans. DG, what's the perfect temperament? How aggressive and violent do you want our players, and how calm and collected? The Patrick Vieiras, the Roy Keanes. Obviously, it can't go over, innit? Kai Havertz, I don't think Kai Havertz gets enough praise. He's a little shithouser, and I love it. Kai Havertz, obviously, he's a unique case, but he's become like Benjamin White. They're players that you absolutely hate if you play against them. We need that. We need a team of guys like that. Even the nice guys, like even someone like Saka. Saka, that if you had a daughter, he's the perfect. Oh, obviously being a footballer and earning a lot of money, but if you had a daughter, a perfect guy, you know, for her to marry. He's becoming a bit nasty. He's having enough with getting kicked. He's kicking Don's back now. Like, you need a team of see you next Tuesdays if we want to get somewhere. There's never been a team of nice guys. The Invincibles were not nice. The Chelsea teams were not nice. City are not nice. Liverpool were not nice. Spurs, no, I'm joking. They've never done it. Barcelona were not nice. And I'm not saying you have to be brutes flying into a million challenges, but it's a fallacy in life. Nice guys win it, finish last. Forget being nice, be good. So it is what it is, man. That Victor Rule guy is good. Xavi just don't like him for some odd reason. He has contributed a goal and assist in 3-4 appearances he's got. I don't know what it is, but it could be an angle to kind of go at, man. Arsenal should loan one of them real youngsters like Galer, maybe Endrick or Diaz. Nah, I'm not really for that. We're not, like, what's the point? Obviously, it works with Odegaard, but what's the point developing players for other teams, man, really and truly? It'd be nice to get Valverde and Tchouaméni if they were to be sold next summer. I would take Diaz because Diaz is more ready. Arda Güler, we're going to have to give him scope to develop and take time, and he's a great player. He's a gem of Turkish football, but what's the point? You know, it's like we're cooking a meal. We're very hungry. We're cooking a meal. As soon as we pull it on the plate, someone steals it. What's the point? Unless we can get him on a permanent. I wonder if he goes out on loan, but again, you know, you look at Modric, 1 minute he's staying, then he's leaving. If Modric leaves, then there might be more game time. And Carlo has always said that Arda Güler would get minutes, but then he come out recently and said, I'm not here to give youngsters minutes. I'm here to win. And that's the reality of playing for a big club like Real Madrid or any top team, really and truly. So we'll have to see. But on that note, though, people, I just really want to get a couple of videos finished for you lot, people. I'm off to edit a Hatto piece, and after that, one around, you know, the last game of the season. But again, people, the content never rests. So, you know, in a few minutes, you're going to get the tactical reaction to the Man United game. Obviously, I'm offered my thoughts on whether Spurs should we cheer for Spurs or not. And we'll be doing a Spurs watch along tomorrow, people. So, yeah, whoever signs Fofana is laughing. But again, Monaco got Champions League. Does he stay? Don't know, man. Ardigale will be on loan. We got Ethan. He missed his chance. DG, you need to smile if City lose rather than smile if Spurs win. I ain't smiling for no Spurs win. But yeah, man, on that note, appreciative to you lot hitting the like button, engaging, commenting, differences of opinion, and etc. And it's a shame, man, because this is the last week in the Premier League season. And, you know, it feels like you snap your fingers and the season's gone. Like, a week's a long time in football. We've had 37. Well, in Arsenal's case, we've had 37 of those. And we've had many different talking points and different heroes and protagonists. So if we don't win the league, which I don't think we will, we go again next season. But it's a pleasure to be here with you lot. You lot stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.